Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Ashton. I'm the founder of Active Solutions AI, where we make enterprise solutions attainable for small businesses. In this video, a couple other things that we do actually is we've also built the most sophisticated conversational AI on the market, and we build sick acquisition systems, in my opinion. In this video, we're going to be going over how to double your booking rates. In today's day and age, one of the biggest things that we're seeing, and I'm going to zoom in here, but one of the biggest things that we are seeing is that it's harder than ever to close deals, especially if you're in America. And the reason why is because we're in something right now that is called and let me actually write this up here. We're in something right now that's called a trust recession, unfortunately. And what this means is that people are becoming way too accustomed to the paid ad process. Everybody has opted into something. Everybody has jumped on or had a discovery call. Everybody has jumped on a demo or Zoom call to try to get closed by a closer. Everybody knows somebody who's been scammed. The buyers are very, very educated when it comes to this process. So it is more important now than ever that we take the time to build the trust that we need to build throughout our sales process. And we need to focus on our metrics, right? The things that I don't always see as important. Everybody wants more leads. Everybody wants to increase their lead volume. But what about your show rates? What about your booking rates, etc.? Those are the numbers we need to focus on. You can actually, if you double your show rate or you double your booking rate, it's the same thing as doubling your lead flow. It's going to double the amount of money that you make on the front end if you can double those metrics. And those metrics are never perfect for anybody. So a couple of things we're going to go over, just to give you an outline. First thing is optimizing the funnel for bookings. This is like the biggest lever that you can pull that I see way too many people making mistakes on. Implementing conversational AI, which I will go over as well, and then improving the quality of your initial conversations. When someone picks up the phone, if you're doing outbound dials, or if you're just calling to confirm someone who did book an appointment, you want to increase your ability for that person to show up, or you want to increase your booking rates by making dials to all the leads that come in quickly, building a lot of rapport on the front end, and actually just getting them to convert on the back end, whether that's just booking an appointment or actually turning it into a client. So let's go ahead and dive into number one. Optimizing your funnel for booking. So one of the most important parts about this, let me move my head bubble over here so that when I zoom in, you can still see me. I'm sure everybody wants to see the right side of my face. So one of the most important things and one of the easiest levers that you can possibly pull is just making your booking process extremely user-friendly. And how you do this is you make sure that every single step, when someone goes from one step to the next, every single step of your booking process or of your funnel, it should be a no-brainer what to do next. And it should be very easy for that person to end up on your calendar. A baby should be able to complete everything and end up on your calendar. And this doesn't mean that it's going to decrease the quality of your bookings at all if you do it correctly, which I will go over. But a child should be able to it should be so user-friendly that everybody knows exactly what the next call to action is, exactly what to do next, exactly what questions to answer, what survey to complete, whatever it might be. And it should be easy to answer those questions and easy to end up on your calendar or your closer calendar, whatever it might be. So I'll give an example. One of the things that I see very commonly is if you take a look at this right here, you'll see someone sees an ad, right? And then you see a nice little form fill where someone's like, okay, I'm interested. Let me fill out this form. And then if you look at this right here, success, your report will be emailed shortly, or it will say, or people will put a headline that says, a member of our team will reach out to you soon, or whatever whatever it might be. The problem is, what's the next step? Like, they probably want this person to potentially schedule a call, but they're not giving them that call to action. They're sending them somewhere else, which is probably like an about page or something that, that has FAQs on the page, but nobody cares about that. What we want them to do is know what the immediate next call to action is right away. So what this should say is, wait, you're not done yet. Fill out the form below or complete the form below to click the button below to schedule your free consultation or whatever it might be, or find out your estimate of X, Y, and Z. You get the point. We want to make it where it's easy. It's so easy for someone to end up on our calendar. So easy. So here's an example of what the calendar. So let's just say, pretend that that's what this said, right? So it said, hey, wait, go ahead and schedule your free consultation with one of our experts below. They click on this and it opens up a page that looks like this. And this is actually our booking page here. Right away, when you visit this page, what's the next call to action? I see a lot of people. Let's pretend this calendar is not here. I see a lot of people that just have stuff like this, and it's just testimonials, and it's all of this, and that's great, and credibility. And then they have the calendar at the bottom of the page. People don't care who you are, especially if it's cold traffic, especially if people just see your ad and they're clicking and they're going to the booking page or whatever it might be. People don't care who you are. They're not going to spend the time. They're not incentivized to spend the time to find out what the next step of the process is, right? So we need to make it extremely obvious. When people visit this page, they know exactly what they're supposed to do. See if you qualify, 20-minute intro call. Okay, so they click this, right? We still want to additionally qualify, so we have a form embedded to this specifically. So they can answer questions, and then that gives my team all of the answers that we need to know if we can help this person or not. They check this box, and then they schedule a meeting, and then that takes them into the rest of the process where we send them a bunch of a couple of emails and a text message and appointment reminders and more testimonials and case studies, blah, 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 whatever. Now, if the person wants to continue to scroll down to find more out about what we do, they can, right? But we want to make sure that the next step is the most obvious thing in the world. Like I said, a child should be able to go through this process. This is one of the biggest issues that I see people running into. If you do this right, you can get 15% of people to come through and walk themselves onto your calendar. You will increase your appointment booking rate 1,000%, not by 1,000%, but you will. There's 1,000% chance that you will get more appointments than you were getting before you were doing something like this. So make sure it's very easy to follow. You know exactly what the next step is. So the process is just easy as possible for the user. User friendliness of the booking process, that's number one. Biggest lever to pull. All right, let's go into lever number 2, which is the implementation of conversational AI. If you are not utilizing conversational AI right now, there is a big problem. This is one of the biggest things right now that is changing the game for booking businesses, especially if you are generating leads consistently. If you're not using conversational AI, you are 100% leaving a lot of money on the table. Okay, so let's go ahead and move over to the Go HighLevel account. One of the things that I would advise is you need a very, very consistent opportunity section. So this is Go HighLevel that we're using, but you can really use any CRM. But in this specifically, you need a very easy to use pipeline stage center. I call it that because it's different in every CRM. So let's just call this pipeline stage center. Okay, so your pipeline is where all of your leads come into, and then there are automations that are associated with all of these stages to get leads to go from one place to the next, so that you can just come in here and you can see which leads are higher priority. So for example, in ours, new leads are new leads that come into the system. Hot leads are any leads that actually apply to our conversational AI. We automatically move them here so that all of our dialers are, let's say, going in and making dials. We're probably going to have a better shot getting people to answer if we dial the hot leads than the new leads. So we go higher priority first. People who scheduled calls, call them first. They're actually our highest priority. We call them first to confirm the appointments they've scheduled, because that's another big lever to pull to increase show rates. And then we have no-show sections, etc. We can dial these people, get them back on the calendar. We can dial the people who schedule calls. We can dial the hot leads, and then we can dial the newest leads that have come in. So this is the order of priority that we usually make our dials. So you want to have a system like this set up. Now, the conversational AI portion is the fun part. So one of the things that we do, and you can very easily set this up in Go HighLevel. I actually helped build the conversational AI that is native within Go HighLevel as part of the trial and error whenever it went through programming this bad boy. So we're very excited about how people are able to utilize this. Let me find. Okay, so here's how this works. This is the workflow section of Go HighLevel, and so we have, I call it GPT 3.0, but you have a trigger and then you have actions, and this is actually very easy to set up. So your trigger is form submissions, Facebook form submissions, survey submissions, whatever it might be, whatever makes the person a lead or where we've collected their information. That's what we want to trigger, because any lead that comes in and doesn't book an appointment themselves, so it doesn't just walk themselves onto your calendar, because if we get 15% of people to book right off the jump, then we still have 85% of people that we need to target. So this is where the 85% comes in. We're going to get an additional 5 to 10% of bookings just from this alone. So this will take our booking rate from 15% to 25%, which is a pretty solid booking rate. So every lead that comes into the system, we are going to have AI reach out to and actually have a conversation with. Now, when you open this up, and I'll drag this out if it allows me to. Nope, doesn't look like it's all right. So actually trying to make this bigger, but it doesn't look like it's going to let me do that right now. So when you open this up, you have the personality section where you can actually, give the bot a personality. And then you have the additional instructions, which are the instructions that the bot is going to follow to actually be, a booking bot, for example. And then you have the maximum amount of messages before it goes to appointment not booked. This means like if you go through and you have 15 exchanges back and forth with the person and they still haven't booked an appointment, then we have a condition that it can go into appointment not booked. You can make this 15, you can make it all the way up to 25, whatever you want. And you have a timeout value, and this is 24 hours. Timeout just means the person didn't reply to the message that we sent. And then that is really the layout here on how this works. Where you're going to get the most value out of this is the additional instructions portion. Now, if you take a look here, you can see that I've made this prompt. I've made the entire prompt with custom values. So I've templated this bad boy so that it's very easy to use and replicate. All I have to do is make this one time, and now I can make this for multiple clients. I can make multiple types of bots. I can create, a no-show bot. I can create a bot for reactivation campaigns. I can create multiple different bots because I have it all programmed with custom values, so I don't have to write out a whole prompt over and over again. For the additional instructions, one of the things I would do is your goal is to qualify. Give me 1 second. Okay, so it says your goal is to to ask the qualifying questions and then start booking the appointment. If they answer, do not ask the same question more than once and only ask one question per message. The qualifying questions are, and I also have those made with custom values. Custom values are really just placeholders for so that I can go to my settings area and I can actually go in there and walk you through it. But I can go to my settings area and I can just fill in the key piece of information, and my entire prompt is written. It's actually really cool. So this is how I give my bot instructions. So now when a lead comes in, it's actually going to send an initial message. I believe I have, right here. So your first message will be this. So my initial message is also a custom value, and it usually says something like, hey, first name, thank you for signing up for X, Y, and Z offer. Just wanted to make sure that you are looking for whatever, right? Question mark. Something that's easy to answer is usually what the first message is. The person responds, and then the AI will actually have a human-like engaging conversation. Now, the prompting is where you're going to get the most out of this, because I can prompt my AI to have a very human-like tone. I can add prompts of giving it like example phrases. So sometimes I'll actually go into ChatGPT and I'll say, give me in a very human-like millennial style language type, I want you to give me 10 different example phrases that somebody would say in that language style for a dental offer, right? This is just an example. ChatGPT will give you the options that are a little bit more millennial or a little bit more human-like or informal or whatever it might be. And then you paste those in here as examples in the additional instructions. You can just say, these are examples of how you should speak, paste those, and you can actually really, really perfect this prompt, especially if you spend some time on it, on sounding or in looking indistinguishable from a human conversation. Absolutely amazing. So spend some time on the prompting. I feel like people don't spend enough time on it, actually, is one of the biggest things that I see. So once you have this programmed, it's pretty much set up. You save the action, and you can actually find unique ways to create follow-ups as well. If the person doesn't respond, to continue following up with the person, etc. Or you can just create follow-up campaigns, whatever it might be. So very cool setup that we have here. Very easy way to start targeting and getting in contact with the rest of the 85% of the people that don't book themselves. So this is a huge, huge game changer. And then just to give you an example of the custom values that I was mentioning earlier. So we have a conversational AI folder. So we put information in here like the appointment link that they're going to book onto, the business information so it knows who it's working for, the company name, conversation examples, conversation style, name of the AI assistant, personality traits, qualifying questions 1, qualifying question 2, trigger message that goes out in the beginning whenever a new lead comes in. So we have all of these custom values. All I have to do is click here and add the key piece of information to each one. And since I already have my template prompt made for all my other accounts, I can just fill out this information like for any bot that I want to make, which is really cool. And then everything is set up and ready to go. So you can make one really good template. And then from that point forward, all you have to do is fill out this information to change the persona of the bot, to change the initial message, change the qualifying questions, whatever, to test new things. You don't actually have to go in and edit the prompt at all. You just manipulate and you change the custom values. It's awesome. Once you've created it once, it literally takes you 3 to 5 minutes to set up as many bots as you want. Absolutely game changing. Lastly, this is just I think this is like an add-on, right? So improving the quality of your initial conversations. If you're making dials and you actually get someone to pick up the phone, which you should be making dials, because you have if you create a very user-friendly booking process, you're going to get 15% of people to book right away, right? You create a really good conversational AI that's going to get in contact with all the leads. You increase that by 10%, that's 25%. You can increase it by another 10 to 15% to get a 35 to 40% booking rate if you make your dials between 3 and let's say 5 p.m. or 3 and 6 p.m. Eastern time, and this is mainly relating to America, but 3 and 5 p.m. or 3 and 6 p.m. Eastern time, because people are more likely to pick up during those times. If you make your dials through the new leads that come into your system, and you get really good at having these conversations, the first thing that you want to focus on when someone actually picks up the phone, and I'm assuming that you're dialing the 85% of people, right, that came in. So the first thing that you want to focus on is building strong rapport. So you want to build huge rapport, because nobody likes picking up the phone and just hearing someone that's trying to sell them. Like we all get annoyed by it. Everybody here has probably had an experience. You probably got very annoyed. So what you want to do is go straight for the rapport and straight for the honesty. One of the best ways to do this is this is something that I used to use all the time. So you want to use something that shows that you are human as fast as you can in the beginning of the call. And here's what I mean by that. Let's say I outbound dial you, right? And you opted into an ad. And if they opted in, not everybody wants to answer the phone and be talking to somebody. Some people just opt in out of curiosity, but you can turn those people into interest buyers. So you make a dial, you call someone, they pick up the phone, and they're like, hello? And you're like, hey, is this Tim? And you're like, yeah, who is this? Hey, this is Ashton with Active Solutions. I saw you filled out a form the other day. Just wanted to kind of reach out and ask a couple of questions, but how are you doing? Everybody's going to answer that question. Most people are. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm good. Or they'll say that they're good, and then they'll ask you how you are doing. Most cases, right? Good, how are you? And then say something, I'm also doing good, but I actually just finished one of the hardest CrossFit workouts in my entire life. I cannot feel my legs. Something as simple as that gets people to loosen up a little bit, and they're more receptive to answer your questions. Ask them where they're from. There's little ways that you can immediately build rapport, show that you're human. They'll let their guard down, and it gives you the opportunity to come in and actually have a real conversation. But that's one of the best ways that I've seen to make that happen, and it works 99.9% of the time. So that's one of the things I would go for. Build strong rapport from the jump. Ask thoughtful, strategic questions to confirm appointments and to ensure that the leads feel valued. So you need to ask the right questions and make them very conversational throughout the process. This is going to significantly increase the probability that you actually book an appointment or you get someone to show up. Now, there's a process that I like to follow. I call them, let me actually see if I can pull that document up. All right, I actually gave a presentation on this recently, so I was able to pull these up. So these are what I like to call discovery milestones. Whenever I get someone to pick up the phone, obviously I build a lot of rapport. Then I go into getting these checkpoints so I know that I'm checking off all the boxes that I need to check off before I actually officially confirm that call, then, jump off the phone, or before I book the call, right? So if this person answers the phone and it is in fact a good time, it's not a good time, I would just make sure you try to find a different time to schedule introductory call. But if they pick up, you build the rapport, everything's good from the jump, and you're good to kind of go in and you can ask them even if they have 5 minutes. at that time. Like you still have a good 5. Do you have 5 minutes right now? Won't take long. We can just go over a couple things. Cool. You want to find what the problem is. Find out exactly why they signed up or why they're on that call. What they're currently doing, fix that problem. What they think is holding them back. So like, why do they think they're still in that place, or why do you think this is a problem type of thing? How long they've been experiencing this, what they've tried in the past, and then what the goal is. And then you move into actually scheduling the appointment, or if that's a confirmation call, then you're just confirming the time and then jumping off the phone. But these are the biggest levers to pull to double your booking rate. One of the easiest things you can implement is step number 1. The second biggest thing, especially if you're running any type of warm advertising or whatever it might be on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or Google, you must have a conversational AI or you are leaving money on the table. Now, one of the things that we do specifically is we build out these systems and we optimize these acquisition funnels for all of our clients. So I would advise, I like when people take initiative and they're able to learn by themselves. So I'd advise you try to figure this out by yourself. But if you feel like you need some additional help and you genuinely have more money than you do time, then you can come to Active Solutions. We'd be more than happy to help you out. We're actually one of the most affordable solutions on the market as well. So we're always happy to see what we can do or what kind of bottlenecks we can fix in your acquisition process. And then lastly, improving the quality of the initial conversation. So if people are scheduling and they're not talking to anybody before they actually get the opportunity to come in the facility, we need to change that right away, because the biggest determining factor of whether or not someone shows up is the quality of that initial conversation. And then secondly, if you're making dials and you're getting someone to pick up the phone, it's a huge lever that you can pull to just increase booking rates. If you have a good conversation, you actually know how to have those conversations. So thank you guys for watching this video. We also have a 100% free Skool community that you can join. I'll drop the link in the description below. And there's going to be a couple other links down there. But if you'd like to work directly with Active Solutions, I think that's going to be the first link in the description. You can click that. It'll take you to a calendar. It'll ask you a couple of questions. We'd love to see if we can help you out. We'll catch you in the next one.